Part B, plateau
assembly starts just like the mountain,
face B1,
with parts B1, B2,
B2
and B3.
Again,
nicer
put the nicer side of the face
down,
as that's going to be the
as
outward
that is
side.
the outside.
And you want to add glue onto the top and the bottom of the vertical slots.
Right here. Part 2 goes in the middle.
So B2 will go in the center.
On the sides. And
B3 on either side.
Perpendicular. There is a little bit.
And again, try to make sure that these dry
step of assembly,
somewhat vertical and perpendicular to the face
standing straight up
of B1.
Again, I like to do these multiple at a time.
Again, it is faster to do them all at once, so all of your plateaus, if you break them all out and glue them all at the same time, you'll save a lot of time on overall assembly of the kit. So again, glue on the upper and lower part of each vertical slot.
And again, this is all inside facing, so you don't necessarily have to make it too pretty. Just needs to adhere.
And B2 in the middle, B3 on the sides.
It is easy to accidentally flip these the wrong way, so make sure that the tabs are all aligned towards the top. Easier to turn it around before it's dry than when it is after the fact. Okay, give these a quick.
And once these are all complete, we'll set them off to dry, just making sure that they don't shift and everything is perpendicular. And when they are dry and reasonably rigid, we can move on to the next step.
And when dry, we'll circle back for the next step. Okay, so now
that these are dry, we can move on to the next steps of the plateau
so we're
assembly.
Start out with parts B4
and B5.
And
so we're going to start with one face.
Notice I actually didn't do a fantastic job letting this one dry straight,
perpendicular, but there's enough give in the material that shouldn't present a problem when we're aligning the slots. There's enough give.
And get my main ring in.
So I'm going to slide this 3 slots of B4 into the face assembly.
A problem. Okay. And then I'm going to work my way around
and we're going to grab another face assembly, add glue to the slots, and work around in a circle. It's easier to work around in a circle than to do opposing sides.
Okay. And around, remember it's a little bit easier to run around in a circle without losing pieces. And finally here. This one's a little trickier on the top to get aligned.
Once all the faces are in the hex ring, you can add B5, which serves as a keystone, which will hold all of the faces in place and keep them from sliding out while it dries. You want to add glue to either side of all of the 12 tabs that will mate with the face of B5. If the angles are off a little bit, you may need to shift the hex around in all the different directions to make sure that the tabs lock in. But once they're in, for the most part, you can flip it over and give it a little bit of an extra press and just make sure that everything is seated from the inside. It's also helpful to add a little bit of weight to it while it dries, just to make sure nothing shifts out of place. I usually use a glass of water because I have multiple of them available and they sit nicely into the depression and add a decent amount of weight. And then we can just set this to the side and let it dry.